For those of you in San Bernardino County, anyone here from San Bernardino? Probably stuck in traffic on their way. San Bernardino County is really facing this right now because Attorney General Jerry Brown sued the county 2 years ago, saying that the new county general plan was illegal in that it was just encouraging auto-oriented straw, which was going to produce more greenhouse gas in the state of passed a law that said you got to reduce greenhouse gas. So if it's not on your radar screen yet, it's coming on your radar screen. And I know you all are interested in creeks, but I'm going to get to a slide toward the end about the importance of building cross-issue alliances. If you all want to have the sort of political power to get your issues through. This is a big thing coming that people who are interested in habitat restoration and building healthier environments really need to build alliances with. Okay, 2 minutes. So anyhow, here we go. Some of the things you can also do in your plan. Ensure sidewalk presence and completeness. So I have sidewalk and bike lane posters. I don't have river posters, I'm sorry. But you see this? Okay, this is just craziness. This is not a useful sidewalk, especially if it's a kid who's on their tricycle trying to ride somewhere or someone.
One of those river things.
What's that?
In the water.
It's exactly. You could have standards in there about what this looks like. There's no reason why this can't be permeable. And you can put down the sort of bricks that have holes in them, but can still stop stuff from growing up so that people can use it and ride their bicycles on it. Connectivity. You see this sort of nonsense in the suburbs. My in-laws live in Palo Alto, okay? And you see this sort of craziness all the time. What's going on here is the Americans with Disabilities Act says you got to have a curb cut on the corner. So they put a curb cut right there. So you're going right out into traffic. Where are you going to go? You're going to stop there and you're going to stop. You can't get around that much, so you can't even make it the other couple inches down to the end. You can write language into your general plan to make sure that your pedestrian infrastructure, whatever it looks like, if it's sidewalks, if it's along the side of a creek, is complete and useful to people. Bike lanes, okay, creating safe and hospitable bike environments. What's interesting about this one, so this is Paris, here's what I like. Notice the cars are out there, and then you got this big wide curve, and then the bikes here. This means that no one is coming to park in the bike lane because they can. No one is going to open their door as someone is riding by in the bike lane, and it creates a sort of environment where, as a parent, I might let my kid ride along this, whereas there is no way I would let my kid ride along a road where the bike lane is just a yellow stripe that people might use as a passing lane. Right? Creating safe public spaces. Crime, people worried about what an environment might look like. There's this whole sort of crime prevention through environmental design movement out now. Some of you might have heard of it, SEPTED. SEPTED principles can get written into the general plan. The New York Times had a story this weekend about kids walking to school. I don't know if any of you read it. Only 13% of American children walk to school now. And that's not walk to school every day. Okay, that's just walk to school. So let's do the math out. It's 87% don't. And they cited an article from the Journal of the American Planning Association that came out this this summer that cited research in the San Francisco Bay Area. 1/3 of parents who don't let their children walk to school are scared of abduction, and they're potentially unsafe environments. And when I say unsafe, they're not talking traffic injury, but just unsafe environments. And so, environmental safety, building places in a way so that there are eyes on the street, so that they're very open and public, is something that you can build into the plan language. And that is very important for encouraging people to use the public spaces. Okay, remember Japan and its 3% obesity rate? Anyone know what this is? That's the Tokyo subway map, okay? The LA subway map doesn't quite look like that. Even New York City, where I lived for 7 years, which is the most transit-friendly city in the country, their subway map doesn't look anything like that. Transit-oriented language in a general plan is health language, okay? language that says, so in San Francisco now, when they build down in the Civic Center area, oftentimes they build a big building and there's no parking attached. In many places in California, you have to have a certain amount of parking per unit, things like that. You're starting slowly to see places do away with that because building in, too much parking, as people will say, will encourage driving, and you're not going to see people out of their cars. Instead, building transit first and transit oriented is health language in the general plan. So you're starting to see people do a lot more of that. So let me just talk quickly. Some policy language. Walkability is very important in building places so that they're walkable, so that people will actually get out. Examples of a good policy is you can write into the general plan language that says promote opportunities for regular physical activity by locating residential developments near services, or near walking trails, or near the Compton Creek Trail, or what have you. A better one, which you're starting to see, is set a walkability standard. For example, quarter mile, half mile for residents' access to daily retail needs and to nearest transit stops. Okay? Zoning, I mentioned zoning. This is a zoning map. Here is a simulation of what you can do to transform a place with form-based zoning codes. This is El Camino Real in Palo Alto. Okay, your standard San Mateo, Santa Clara County Boulevard, 6 lanes wide. You see this poor dude right there baking on the hot asphalt, riding his bike. He probably really wants to go to the car wash joint there to cool off. But anyhow, that's what it looks like now. Very narrow median, car-oriented, nobody at all walking along here. And there are businesses, but they're set way back behind the 15 acres of parking. Okay, so this is El Camino. What we've done is we've changed the zoning codes a little bit. We say we need to widen the median, we need to put in trees. There need to be bulb outs to put this road on a road diet. You guys have heard of road diets before. So that the traffic slows down and you're providing a friendlier environment for the cyclists along here. So here we go. We've decided now we want to raise the height limit and we want to eliminate the setbacks from the sidewalk and we want to go mixed use. So this is the same street. This is a simulation from Urban Advantage. And so what you've done is totally transformed the place. Okay? By writing in certain standards into your zoning codes. And like I said, I have streets. Imagine if this was a river. River's a conduit, the street is a conduit. Okay? Design guidelines and form-based codes are starting to proliferate around the country. And in these codes, you can start to get really specific about what the environment looks like, what the setbacks are like on the street. The fact that there's going to be a bulb out here with trees, the fact that you're going to, instead of having the sidewalk right there, if there was a sidewalk, you widen the sidewalk and then you've got a 3-foot buffer of some sort of greenery so that the sidewalk is more protected from the cars. And these are the sort of things that with your planners, if you all are involved in a planning process, you can start to design into the plan so that this becomes the standard of what the place is supposed to look like. And so as I say, I'm using streets as an example here, but envision rivers or